So today it's Bacon Wars, and can you guess what we're making? So we're gonna make bacon pancakes, and we're gonna do a bonus recipe for a muffin. Well, we're gonna do it like a donut, like a mini donut bite, and we're gonna put bacon on that. So I wanted to show you guys, the first thing that I do is I cook my bacon in the oven. And I find a couple things. One, it's easier to render the grease from it. Two, you don't get splattered. And three, all of your bacon is kind of cooked evenly and it shrinks less. So I'm just gonna quick transfer it to the paper towel here. And then we're gonna use some of the bacon grease in there for our pancakes. Now, at my house, I do regular and I do keto version. So I've got 2 pans on the go, and I'm just going to show you guys how kind of quick and easy it is to do both, because I know I'm not the only one who only eats like this in their house. And what I like about doing the bacon in the oven is it comes out, oh, making a mess, comes out in nicer strips. And for today's, we're gonna, break it up for the most part anyways, but I still like it to come out nice and even all together. So it's hump day. I don't know how your guys' week is going, but I figured, you know what? You can never go wrong with bacon on a hump day. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to turn our pans on to warm up. And I think I'm going to make a coffee with the homemade Baileys I made the other night. I don't know if you guys saw that one or not, so I'll show you again quickly and kind of let you know how I did that. It does come with the warning that they're the maltitol sweetened candies, so if those bother you, it might be an issue, but they don't bother me, so I quite like them. So we're going to put a little bit of the bacon grease in each pan, because I'm going to do their pancakes and mine. And then we're just going to set that back aside. There we go. And because everybody loves to look at bacon, I'll set it so you guys can kind of see it a little. See the bacon. Okay, so what I'm doing for them is just a pre-mix. And it's one of the just add water mixes. And my quick trick for that is I just mix it up in a jar. That way it's quick and easy to go. So that's theirs. Now for us, we're going to make a variation of the tortillas that we did the other day. And they started out with 1/3 of a cup of coconut flour. So we're going to put 1/3 of a cup of coconut flour in there. And I like something that is a lot more multi-grain. Even pre-keto, I preferred things that were either a whole wheat or a multi-grain. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of ground flax to give it that whole wheat kind of brown. And then because I don't really like to do just a straight almond or coconut flour, I like to mix them so that it doesn't taste too eggy. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of almond flour. And one of my favorite, pecan flour, because I just really like the flavor that it has. It's a nutty flavor and it's sweet and it's lower in carbs than almond. So then we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder or soda, whichever you have on hand. Okay, that. We're going to put a little bit of Himalayan salt. 1 egg. Okay, and then to get a little bit creamier, fluffier pancake, I like to put a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. Now, if you're dairy-free, it doesn't have to be heavy whipping cream. It can be coconut milk, it can be almond milk, whatever it is, just to give it a little bit creamier texture. And I mix that a little bit together, and then you want to add enough water for it to be the pancake texture that you want. So I'm just going to turn these down a little bit. And I brought some water over with me too. So we're just going to add enough until it's the right texture. Oh, I don't know if you guys have heard this song before or not, but I found it today and I think it's the funniest song I've ever heard. It's called Rub Some Bacon on It. I don't know, my 19-year-old really likes these guys. They're pretty funny. Okay, so this one you can see, it's going to look more like a whole wheat than it would a just white pancake. And I'm going to say it's a little bit thicker than we want, so I'm going to add just a little bit more water to it. And this honestly is a thickness preference thing. You can make them as thin as a crepe, or you can make them fat and fluffy like a cake. It's just going to matter what you like. Now, because we're adding bacon to this, I'm going to add a little bit of cracked pepper and Italian seasoning too, just because. So I looked up funny bacon songs for you guys today, and I laughed my butt off listening to bacon songs. Okay, so we're going to give that a shake.
Hi there. If you're a human, you've probably got problems. Don't worry, just call the Bacon Hotline. Tell the Bacon Bot your problem. Follow his simple advice.
And you can use buttermilk for this too if you want. And how I do that is I use heavy whipping cream and then just add a teeny little bit of vinegar to sour it. That's how my mom always made buttermilk. And then that gives them a little bit creamier flavor. So then there's our pancakes. They're ready to go in our skillet. We're going to break up some of the bacon to go in there. And I'm debating if I should put the bacon in or on top. And I'm thinking I'd rather put it on top. So I think we're going to do it like that. So I'm just going to break them up and put them in chunks. Because I think if I put it right in the batter, it's going to get soggy. And I don't know about you guys, but I do not like soggy bacon. I think when somebody has soggy bacon, I think that's like when people hate me for overcooking my steak. Okay. Oh, and I got another funny bacon song for you guys. I found some really good ones. Oh my goodness. Okay. This one's a good one. Okay, so I'm going to start their pancakes in the bigger pan first. And then throw some bacon on top of there. Bacon. I love bacon. And I actually got a request from my guy. He wants to try mine this time too, so I'm pretty excited about that. And honestly, I love this for quick and easy clean up. And then we're going to put some bacon. And then as soon as I get it all on there, I'll turn you guys around so that you can see a little bit better. Okay. Because I want you guys to see as well the difference in texture between, you know, what their pancake is and what my pancake is. Because if you've never had a keto pancake before, you honestly might be expecting something different than what it is. They're not exactly a traditional pancake, but they're really not bad. So this is the regular pancake. So this is kind of what you're used to the look of cooking. And we wait until they're bubbly and then we flip them. So I'm going to flip these ones and then I'll show you ours and how they look slightly different and how we tell when to flip them, because it was a little bit of practice for me to be able to get keto pancakes down. To be honest with you, the nut flour is different in a lot of things, and for some things I find it a lot easier. Some things, nah, not quite so much. So the main thing I'm going to tell you is that our pancakes are a lot more moist. So you see a lot more moisture bubble off of them, and you want them to be almost dry-ish looking on the top before you flip them. I don't normally like country song, but when it's about bacon, I don't think you can go wrong. Okay, so you can see this is the first batch of theirs, and ours are still kind of cooking on the one side. So I'm going to show you, these are theirs. Bacon on that side. I'm going to start their second batch. I can't be the only one who has a hard time not licking my fingers when I'm making other people's food. I catch myself all the time trying to do that. Okay, so, no, I'm going to turn ours up just a little bit. And I do find that they need a slightly higher heat as well. Now, I do hear a lot of people say that they find them eggy, which is why I add the combination of the flax and the extra nut flour, just so it doesn't taste quite so eggy. And then we're going to do we're going to use the 1-minute muffin recipe, and we're going to make cake pops. And I have just this little cake pop maker, so we're going to make like mini bite donuts with that. Okay. Just about ready to flip. So they definitely take a fair amount longer to cook, but I also find them a lot more filling too. And that is something that I will say, because a lot of people are coming over to my house recently that want to cook things that normally wouldn't have come over and tried our food before, something that I would have cooked before. And what I hear all the way across the board is that my food is more filling. If you caught the live with the boys with the lunch prep, my 15-year-old nephew made 3 chicken wraps, and he was sure he was eating all 3 of them because he was starving to death. And in the end, he ate half of a one and took the other 2.5 home. So it definitely is a lot more filling. If you're just starting on keto diet and you think, oh, you know, for the first couple days I was really hungry and now all of a sudden I don't feel like eating anything, should I be worried? That's totally normal. Once your body starts to adjust, then you won't feel hungry all of the time. And you'll actually forget that feeling of being hungry all of the time. And I think because I ate so much carb food before, I was hungry so frequently that I never realized that I was never really full. Now, I'm going to switch this to the bigger burner just so I've got a little bit better heat on there. Because they only have one left anyways. Oh. And then we'll serve with bacon, and we're just going to have scrambled eggs with it. So nothing overly complicated tonight. I wanted to go fancier. My guy was like, just bacon and eggs, please, today. Okay. I even found us a romantic song about bacon. It's all like teen angsty. Okay. Yay! All right, we're almost ready to flip. So I'm going to show you guys what I meant by it looks almost drier on the top. So it doesn't bubble like a normal pancake does, but you can see that it's not quite doughy. And about then is when you want to flip them. Now, they are harder to flip, and they do sometimes fall apart a little bit. The texture is different, so I'm not going to sell you that they're exactly the same as a regular pancake. They're not. But for me, it's a close enough. And for me, I just need to fool my brain. I don't need it to be exactly like what I used to eat. I just need it to be similar. Now, if you're looking for something that's exactly the same texture as a regular pancake, you're probably not going to get it in a homemade nut pancake. If you're low carb, you might be able to get it in a gluten-free or a low carb version, but you're probably never going to, although I never say never, I don't know, maybe someone else has perfected the fluffy pancake. I'm by no means a chef. I just take simple, easy recipes and I make them fun. I try to show you guys how you can take something basic and convert it into just about anything that you want. Because I found that once I got the basics down, the rest is easy. The rest is all laughing. So our first batch is almost done, and they're not as pretty as they're going to be on the next batches. The same as with any pancakes when you make them. It takes a batch or two to get them exactly right. See, one did fall apart. But again, it's first batch trials. Now we're going to put a little bit more bacon grease in there. And I'm going to pour the next batch, and then I'll show you guys what the first ones look like. Okay, so they're not as fluffy, but in all honesty, it's still a pancake. The next ones will come out good, and I'm going to taste this one because it's broken anyways. That's quite nice. Now this is the first time that I've done quite this combination of flour and flax, and I really like it actually. It's a nice option as well if you're nut free. Then you can go flax and coconut, and it's not quite as eggy or bland as just a plain coconut would be. And also it's great for extra fiber. Now, if you're looking for something that's a little bit fluffier pancake, I would add a bit of psyllium husk, if you have that. I use it for my muffins, and it definitely helps keep my muffins fluffy. So I think it might be really nice in a pancake too. Okay, so while that second batch is going, I'm going to show you guys how we're going to make our 1 minute muffin / donuts. Now with this one we're going to use walnut flour. So we're going to do 2 flavors. We're going to do chocolate and we're going to do a maple walnut that we're going to put a bacon on. So the 1 minute muffin is 4 tablespoons of, honestly, any combination of nut flour that you like. The original recipe I saw was just for almond flour, and I find it quite eggy. And I usually make a mix of, you know, walnut, pecan. If you're nut free, any seed will work. But today we're going to do walnut. So we've got 4 tablespoons of walnut, a pinch of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Turn that down just a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of oil. And you know what? Let's do it. Today, because we're making bacon donuts, let's use our rendered bacon grease for our tablespoon of oil. Because you can use any kind of oil you want. So what the heck? Today we'll use bacon. Oh, we'll have to flip these. Sometimes it's a little creative flipping. Ta-da! I win. Okay, to that we're going to add 1 egg. And I want to add a little bit of pecan flour just for flavor too. So we're going to add a little bit of pecan flour. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to divide it in half. Half we're going to make a maple caramel that we're going to put bacon drizzle on, and the other half we're going to make chocolate that we're going to put bacon on because bacon. That's all I can say. I don't think anybody has a better reason than that. So we're going to divide the batter in half. And half of it I'm going to add maple flavoring extract. And sweetener of choice. Now, I always recommend to taste the batter, only just because depending on which sweetener you use, one recipe will be sweeter than the other. So I always start with half of the sweetener that they call for and then add more to taste. because you can add more, but I've learned the hard way, you can't take some out. And I've over sweetened recipes, and unfortunately it ruins it. So I'd rather err on the side of slightly bitter and then add an icing to it than, you know, make something so sweet that I can't stand to eat it. Now in this one, we're going to add cocoa. And I use a combination of black and red cocoa. That's just a preference because I like the color of it. When I read up, it said that black cocoa was the best. And I bought that thinking it would be really awesome. And I made cookies and they were actually black. They weren't brown. So I wasn't happy with the look of my cookies. So I went hunting for an alternative. And then I just did a combination of the black and the red. Okay. Okay, so we're going to turn that off. We're going to finish mixing this for you guys. And then I think I'll probably bring the cake pop maker closer so you guys can get a better look. And while that's going on, I'll throw my eggs in my pan, and then it'll be supper time at my house. Okay, so this isn't going to make a lot of cake pops, but it's enough for dessert for 4 people. So I'm going to move these out of the way and show you what my pancakes look like. My bacon pancakes. Okay, let's move this out of the way and I'll bring the cake pop across for you guys. And I'm not snitching bacon while you're not looking. Oh. Okay, now this thing is one of my absolute favorites. I'm going to lift you guys up just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Maybe not. No. Okay. I'll move you guys once I get some stuff going in there. It takes about a tablespoon to fill each one. Now, I would say it's slightly different than a regular flour cake. When I used to make it with the flour cakes, it would pop up and it would cook on the top and the bottom. And I find with these ones, because they don't expand, I just flip it inside of there. So I let them cook most of the way, and then I flip them in there. And this is the 1-minute muffin recipe, and it's the perfect amount to make the container full of cake pops. So if you want to make additional batches of the cake pops, 1 batch per set will do it for you. So I'm going to turn you guys so you can see, and then we're going to I'm really not very good at this. There we go. So then we just close it, and it tells you when it's ready. It's got a light that pops on and off when it's all ready to go. So we're going to heat up our pan, put a little bit more bacon grease in it. And I think we're just gonna do fried eggs in my house tonight. I think it's kind of quicker, easier. I almost want to eat one of my pancakes while we listen. And I just do everybody's eggs all in the same pan together. All together, we get 5, 6, 7 for my family. Ooh, and I wanted to show you guys, if you watched last night's epic fail with my son, my first ever online fail, I decided that I was going to try to do my flax chips in a frying pan, and it didn't work. But I did bake them later, so I wanted you guys to see how really thin and crispy they are. And those are the ones that we rolled out yesterday. Now, when it got stuck, because that's why I wasn't able to get them off. When they got stuck to the paper, what I did was I put another layer on top and I put them in the freezer overnight. And then I peeled the paper off because these ones are like super, super crispy thin. So more like a chip than a cracker. And I don't know what you guys put on your eggs. We usually just do salt and pepper, and I got this really awesome powdered Frank's Red Hot. So I usually put some of that on. Okay, let's take a peek at this. Oh, okay, nice. Okay, so that's one side. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a fork and I'm just going to gently flip them in there. And actually, I think we're going to let them cook just a little bit longer first before we flip them. And then I just put a little bit of chocolate drizzle on them. We're going to put some bacon on the top, and then that's done. That's supper. We'll have eggs served with bacon. We're going to have some chips on the side with the really yummy dip that Isaac and I made yesterday. And it's just a quick and easy hump day supper. Nothing extravagant at my house today. But really, can a day be a bad day when you had bacon pancakes? Now, you guys might be curious about syrups too. I was super excited when I found no sugar added pancake syrup. And I was really, really, really stoked about it until I realized that there really isn't any such thing as no sugar syrup. So, I'm going to make you guys sad now. And I'm going to tell you that even in this that says right on it that it's sweetened and it's no sugar added, when I read it, it actually has 6 grams of sugar per 3 tablespoons. But we talked better or worse. So this one is 3 tablespoons. Our regular brand of syrup, I don't even know if we have any regular syrup. Oh, yeah. Our regular brand is 47 grams per quarter cup. So I'm going to say about 13 grams of sugar in this per tablespoon, as opposed to 3 grams of sugar per 3 tablespoons. So is it perfect? No. Is it a million times better than? Yes. Can you make it at home if you've got time? Yes. Is that your best choice? Yes. But if you need to just buy some, that's what I would say. Look for one that has a lesser sugar. And unfortunately, they kind of misname sugars sometimes. That one says it's sweetened with sucralose, which, as a newbie, led me to believe that wasn't sugar. And I think they named them that way on purpose so that you're not familiar with what the ingredients are. And I think that's how they kind of make sneaky sugars, sneaky labels. So I'm going to flip these and then I'm going to let you guys take a peek. And then they're almost done. And we're just going to melt a little bit of unsweetened baker's chocolate and add sweetener to it. Okay, and our eggs are done. I'm going to take them off the heat. Okay, so I've got just a little bit of baker's chocolate. Let's find a little bowl. I used all my small bowls the other day. Okay, this one will work. So just a little bit of baker's chocolate, unsweetened, whatever brand you have. Sometimes I buy them in the chips, sometimes I buy them in the bricks. It doesn't really matter. It's just a little bit of unsweetened chocolate. If you have raw cacao, you can use that too. And then I add just a teeny bit of coconut oil to help it melt. So usually 2 parts to 1. If you've seen my chocolate bacon, that's how I do that too. And I think we'll do some of that today because if we're going to have chocolate, we may as well have. So I usually started at just about 20 seconds. And then these were the dessert chips that we made. So we made some savory chips and we made some dessert chips. We made a fruit, like a sweet yogurt dip for the sweet ones last night. Okay, we're going to put it in for another 20 seconds. Okay. I'm going to grab a plate for these. Okay, so out of this batch, we ended up with 4 of the chocolate and 3 of the maple flavor. Whew. Okay. Okay, so this is what they look like when they pop out. And we're going to put a little bit of chocolate drizzle on them and then some bacon garnish. I'm not really sure how I want to arrange them on the plate. I'll think about that while I get the chocolate ready. And then we're going to add just a little bit of sweetener. Okay. And I'll show you guys some drizzled bacon too, just because. Okay. Because why not? We'll have some dessert bacon as well. There's nothing like dessert bacon. Okay, so we're just gonna take this chocolate mixture that we made and drizzle it on top of the bacon and on top of our little muffins. Sometimes I dip the bacon too. I've also done this with pepperoni. Oh, so nice with cooked pepperoni chips. So delicious. And then I think we need some sort of tunes back on before we put the next thing. Okay, so I'll let you guys take a peek at that. And then I'm going to pop it in the fridge to chill. And I will post pictures of it after. Okay, and then we're gonna do our little muffins. And honestly, guys, these are easy recipes. If you ever tune in and think, oh, that's, you know, that's going to be hard, I never make anything complicated. So everything that you see in my feed, even if it looks really fancy, it's not hard to make. Because I only do beautiful, I don't do complicated. Okay. And then we're just going to break up some bacon on top to attach to our chocolate. And then just because I really like chocolate, I think we're going to put a little bit more chocolate on top of our bacon. Okay, and then I'm going to save some of the chocolate drizzle for something else. So I'm going to turn you guys so you can see. So those are our chocolate bacon donuts. And we did bacon pancakes. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. And if you have any suggestions for tomorrow's Keto Wars, let me know. I haven't picked yet because in true Dory fashion, I decide that at the last minute. So if you guys have any ideas, send me a message and we'll get together tomorrow night. Thanks, guys. See you later.